Ooh. This one got everything under the sun. If you're a parent, if you're in a relationship, if you were scared to do business together, ran a business, shelved that business, and do a business now together, and destroy. I'm talking about destroying in your first year in the business together collectively. This is the episode you want to watch. Black love, black power, all of it. Come watch this one. It's gonna be special. Oh yeah, I'm glad I got it. There you go. To see you. My boy, he is. Good to see you, Killer. Yes, sir. Oh, this one gonna be special. All right, so first and foremost, I have better friends than what you have. I mean, it's evident now. If you haven't seen by now, just been blessed. And today we have a jam pack. I'm gonna be honest. This might need a two-part. There's a lot of information we gotta give today, but I have a powerhouse here with me. So I don't even truly. I usually know where to start. I don't know where to start because it got so much to uncover. We could talk about it all today. Airbnb, business credit, affiliate marketing. Do I got your attention yet? Oh, yes. Yeah, I got it. We got some powerful guests here. We got my boy, Rel and Yvonne in the building. Let's clap it up for them. Y'all want one time from home and all that. Yeah. How y'all feeling today?
Amazing.
First and foremost, y'all look amazing. You heard? Y'all look like y'all glowing, like y'all drinking water. You know what I'm saying? Like the kids are acting right.
So water.
So, by the way, Tequila, The Rock, you heard this Terramana. Holla at your
Terramana,
boy, stop
yes.
playing. And, you can sponsor me if you want. It is what it is. So, this is another episode we're going to talk about serial entrepreneurs. And I want to first say I'm proud of y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's a long time coming. I've known you guys for almost 7, 8 years. Few years. I would say the first time. I remember the first time I met Rel, right? Guys, again, you guys know my memory it's a little different. It was here in the Bronx. It's exactly. I don't know if you remember this day. I'm in the Bronx. I'm in Ibiza. You know, and I'm out there. I'm yelling. I used to yell a lot back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm presenting, and I just see Rel. You can't miss. This guy's like 6'5", right? Big guy. In the back of the room. I don't know if he's a guest, you know what I'm saying, or he's part of what we're doing. I'm like, yo, whoever the big dude is in the back, he's locked in. Comes up to me and says, yo, you doing this again? Next week, when you doing this again? I was like, oh, I'll be here. And they said, like, I'm going to be here. I said, all right, cool. And again, from there, it was history, you know what I'm saying? Relationship, brotherhood grew from that. Anytime I needed something, I could make a phone call. And I watched the man go from a guy who was somewhat shy, I would say. Yeah. Yvonne is, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section, if y'all want Yvonne to have her own episode, because there's a lot to unpack alone, please comment in the section. I'm going to try to get this in within an hour, but it's just so much they can uncover. Let me know. We could do that for sure. And then, boom, we became partners in regards to what we did and seen a lot happen. And then, this lovely love, it was so beautiful. I was there when it happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, look at them. They so cute together. It was really on the dance floor. I saw y'all wilding. You know what I'm saying? I was at an event. I was like, oh, they going off over there. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? And then, boom, now what is... So, correct me if I'm wrong here. It's 2 babies. You have 2. You have 2.
We have 1 together.
And have 1 together. So, let's start there, I guess. Where'd y'all meet? You know what I'm saying? Who said I love you first? Yeah. He did. Oh, yeah. How y'all come about? Because the business we're going to get into, but I think if we be true, us being people of color, I'm Dominican, but I'm black. If you're Dominican, you black if you don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Black love, black entrepreneurship, all that young youth, coming from the Bronx, all that. It's rare stories, so I want to really highlight those things because it's important to understand that things don't have to be toxic, right? You don't got to be out there looking for somebody else if you find someone special. You could also build something special in the future if you're not doing something immediately. You got to learn how to take your time and understand what you have. Hope you wrote that down. So, let's start there. Where'd you guys meet?
You want to go?
Go ahead, because
his story is
it's a little different.
from mine.
I love this.
Her story is not really the truth.
Okay,
my
go ahead.
friend,
Okay.
Terrell was into party promoting at the time, and my friend invited me. He said, "Hey, normally I will always go out. Like I'm always in a party. That's been my life because I was single at the time.
Okay.
So my friend told me get dressed, call my homegirls up, and we were gonna go out. So he was like, I got this contract at BB King's, which is on 42nd Street in Manhattan.
Our boy was doing things back then. You understand?
And then it just so happened that me and him end up sitting back to back in 2 VIP sections. Like Rel was behind me, and I was sitting.
You saw her from the VIP.
It's true.
Okay, facts.
So far,
okay.
I was sitting in one VIP section with my friend, my homeboy that invited me to go out, and then Rel was sitting behind me. But prior to us going to that club, my other friend at the time, she had told me about a guy, which was in the Bronx, and he was throwing a bus ride to Dorney Park. So I had started following him maybe a week prior. I did not know that he was going to be at this club.
Did the homework, you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know he was going to be at this club, and it just so happened that we sat back to back, and he was one of the party promoters at the time. So he was up mixing and mingling with everybody there. And I just kind of sat in my own little section with my friends. And then somehow me and him started talking. And then he said, okay, add me on Instagram. And it just so happened that I was already following him.
He was in. Yes. Copy.
I was already following him, and then his version of the story is a little bit different from what he tell family and friends. So he'll tell his story.
I just tell the truth.
Okay.
All I tell is the truth.
So what happened?
I mean, y'all just heard. I'm glad she told it first.
Okay.
I think her story is pretty accurate, but the one part that she doesn't really mention is my friend told me about him. He was doing a bus ride. She looked at me. She probably looked. Here's what I know what happened.
Okay.
She looked. She said, "Oh, he's."
He
look good.
He look good.
And then she probably looked and said, "Oh, he does BB King's. My homie does BB King's. I'm going to BB King's." She saw it out. She knew what she was coming for.
She already knew.
Then when we get to the VIP section, she chose to sit behind me because I was sitting there, and she knew she came there with a purpose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
She knew
she came with a purpose.
She was hungry. She knew what a steak was.
Oh, she knew what was going on. It was so. I look at my phone. I'm like, "Oh, you followed? You did your research."
Yeah,
I knew I was in.
that's funny.
I said, "This is a win for today."
That's
I knew it.
funny.
I didn't know how long the win would last.
Right.
I knew it was a win for that
8
day.
years, almost 9
8
years
years,
later.
almost 9
Love in the
years
club.
later. There it goes.
So if they say you can't find love
In
in
the
the
club, it's a lie.
beg the difference.
But the difference is you got to be throwing a party. You got to be the VIP.
Right.
Gotta be
You feel me?
VIP.
You got to be doing
And
something.
You gotta
right.
be the promoter.
You got to be the promoter. Okay, cool. And now, y'all get together. We start doing, let's call it what it is. We in network marketing.
Network
Right?
marketing.
I'm going to do an episode. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say it on this episode by myself. Why network marketing? Why not network marketing? Because there's a lot of misconceptions of network marketing that a lot of people don't know. And we're just going to spit the facts. Because if it wasn't for network marketing, a lot of great things happen to me in network marketing. As you can see, a lot of my guests, as you've seen so far, are coming because I met them in a great net marketing company. It is what it is. All right. And we were killing head on, right? Doing our thing. We got to some levels a lot of people didn't achieve. At the time, were y'all building a business together in network marketing, or y'all decided to do it separately? If so, how was that first experience? Because I think that's the first experience of y'all, quote unquote, doing business together. And just correct me if I'm wrong. We'll go from there.
Well, we wasn't building a business together, and we wasn't necessarily building a business apart. But what I liked from the gate was she just supported what I was doing. It was more of that. So, which most people don't know, she can tell you what happened on our first date. But like from the start, she supported what I was doing, which was big because I've been in relationships where people didn't support what I did. So she could tell you what happened on our first date, how it all started for real.
Yeah, so our first date, he wanted to see what kind of girl I was. So he told me, hey, let's meet at Mother Burger, which is, finger foods, $3 margaritas. So I said, okay, cool. I got off work. He got off work. We met in the city. And then we're sitting down maybe about 20 minutes in. I don't know him from, besides seeing him at the party. And then a guy pulls up and he's like, hey, my friend is stopping by. So I'm thinking, okay, his friend is coming to have a drink. And then another young lady shows up and then they pull out a computer. Yeah, they pull out a computer and I'm like, what just happened?
Right,
What's going on? So They sit down. He's like, give me a few seconds, and they start doing the whole presentation. And I'm like, okay,
full blown joint
on our first date. So I'm
Right.
like, okay. So when I get home to my friends, they're like,
How was your
okay, so
date?
how was the date? And I'm like, I think he does some type of marketing because
That's hilarious.
his friend pulled up and then they did a whole presentation. I said, but overall, I think he's a good guy, and maybe we see where it goes from there.
And boom,
here we are.
Full blown presentation,
That's
first date,
hilarious.
mother burger, invited her to the motherland.
Yo,
$3 margaritas,
Oh
bro.
my God,
If a
that's
girl,
so
listen,
savage.
let me tell you something. People want to know how to know if the girls are one. See, people they make the mistake of they go and they take them to the expensive restaurant. We gonna have $3 margaritas.
$3,
I'm gonna
yeah.
catch your vibe, and if you could appreciate that, I did a whole business presentation. See you now. I knew she appreciated me for me. I ain't have to worry
That's
about
different.
that. You get what I'm saying?
That's
$3
different.
margaritas. That's it. Y'all can go ahead and keep the expensive stuff at the beginning. We do it now regularly.
No,
but
yeah, that's different, right? I ain't even gonna lie to you. First date, boy, that was
First date.
First date.
Yeah, right.
First date.
First date.
That's
Right out the
amazing.
gate.
Okay, so now I want to get into the meat and potatoes of where I kind of see where you are today. By the way, before I get into that question, for the record, for people that are listening, Airbnb, how long have y'all been doing Airbnb?
Soon coming up on a year.
Yeah.
March 4th.
March 4th will be a year since we
That'll
listed
be
our
listed
first
on
units.
Airbnb.
Okay, how many Airbnbs do you currently have right now?
8.
What's your earnings for this year so far?
This year, so far, it's over 80,000 for this year.
All right, cool. I got your attention. I got that. Y'all
Just
listening?
in 2022.
That's just 2022.
Just 2022. Y'all did how much?
Over 80,000 so far.
And y'all been doing it for how long?
Less than
a year. March 4th will make a year.
Okay, now we're gonna dive into how the hell that got there, right? So I remember, rest in peace, the Kirk Bud. Rest in peace to Kirk Bud. We lost a friend that was about a great soul. This was like, bruh, incredible guy. Like if Kevin Hart was a little bigger and stronger, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's my boy Kirk. Rest in peace, Kirk. Sometimes people pass away and you kind of link up with people you haven't seen in a minute. And what I love about true relationships and friendships that you ain't afraid to speak the truth. You know what I'm saying? Me and Rel in the car, just really talking about where we at, what we doing, what we want to do. Yo, bro, you still trading? Yo, you still working on these things, etc. Yeah, and from that day, it was always still gun ho. Like, I'm going to figure something out. And when I do, you going to know about it. Like, that's literally where it was, right? And that conversation it was also very, all right, so let me just say this. Sometimes we get in isolation, but you do worse by yourself than what you would do if you were with people, right? You claim you got time for yourself and you're not doing anything good. You're looking at dumb shit online. You avoiding phone calls you're supposed to pick up. You really self-sabotaging yourself. You ain't working on yourself, right? Then there's people that actually take time to themselves, work on themselves, so when they get in a car with people and have a conversation, you're able to receive those kind of conversations, right? It feels like in time was perfect timing. And that's the first time we talk about what we're going to do. Let's talk about that. You remember that conversation?
I remember us talking about a few. I think it was like I was talking about a few different things of where I wanted to go. I know I was asking you about the trading, and you was telling me, "Yo, trust me when I'm gonna let you know." When I'm like, "Yo, let me know," because I was very interested. Basically, the point of my life there was I knew I wanted to do something else. I just didn't know what. I got to a point in my life where I felt like I kind of leveled off. And I was like, man, I've been in the same position for years. And most people will look at me like, oh, you were successful. You haven't worked a job since, 2014. You retired. They think, but if you're a person that's driven, you're motivated. If you are like a really like just competitive person, you never get to a level and say, okay, I arrived. You're always looking for a next level. And I was like at a point when I like leveled off and I was telling Rob, like, listen, I'm about to do this. Like, I'm about to jump into this. Did you hear about this? And Rob, you telling me about what you was working on and what you was doing and some steps that you made. So, yeah, that's where I was at that time.
And look, then shout out to Nikki and HeyMrs, right? I'm online and I'm seeing Nikki and HeyMrs going crazy doing Airbnb. And I'm like, yo, and I keep it transparent. At the time, I'm working on my credit. I don't know what I want to I want to do something else as well. I don't know what I want to venture off to, etc. And then I see Rel book the course, right? So cool, I'll make the phone call. I'm like, yo, how's it going? Like, what are you learning? Not that, of course, by the way, these are stellar trainers, experienced, great people. It is what it is. The fact that he had the course already is just another conversation to have real quick. And I believe, I'm not sure, this was the first domino to like affiliate marketing, right? Because you was like, and did it so smooth. Like, yo, listen, just use my code.
Yep.
So you want to get that course? I was like, yeah, I'm about to buy the course right. Before you do that, use my code. And I got a great deal on their course. So I want to speak on affiliate marketing, because I did see this post where Earn Your Leisure had, if you have $500, Jim Jones is on there. And it's like, see, I'm paying attention. You think I was paying attention?
Mm-hmm. You saw that comment? Yeah.
Saw that comment. It's like, if you have $500, you know what I'm saying? I'm a person from the hood. I don't have much going on. What do you do? Where do I start, right? And Rel comment very detailed in there, affiliate marketing. And I want you to kind of dive into what that looks like. And how did you start affiliate marketing? Because then after that, we'll dive into the Airbnb.
Affiliate marketing, honestly, it's going to happen whether you participate in it or not, especially if you're doing something. Here's what I mean. I got into affiliate marketing almost by mistake. I started with my intentions was to just go get Airbnbs. I took a course. I got value from the course. Anytime you're doing anything that brings you value, brings you joy, or it's something new, it's exciting, you're going to post about it. You're going to speak about it.
Facts.
Like, people are going to know you're doing it. So I was just posting my Airbnb journey. That's all I was doing. I didn't even know what affiliate marketing was. And I remember getting all these calls from my friends, and they're calling me, and I'm just like, all right. They're like, yo, what's up with this Airbnb thing? I'm like, yo, it's cool, it's dope. I took a course. They're like, what course? I'm like, this guy's course. So I'm just referring them. So now I communicate because I know the person, the creator of the course.
Right.
And he's like, yo, why don't you just be an affiliate? And I'm like, what's that?
Right.
He goes, oh, basically, when you refer people to my course, you'll get paid, and we'll pay you 50%. So I literally like, so you mean to tell me you're going to give me 50% of whatever they paid?
Right. Nah, but that sounds so good to be true.
Oh, exactly.
Right.
You're going to give me 50%
right.
of whatever they paid, and I'm doing stuff that I'm going to do anyway. I was going to refer them anyway. And that's when I knew it was powerful. So I just started, basically, it started with initial just like conversations. People, oh, how it happened? And I would get on the phone with them. I would talk to them for like 40, 50 minutes. And sometimes it'd be like an hour. And I just like, then they'll go buy the course, which is cool. And I was like, all right, that's cool. But then I started my network marketing, which is why, this is why it played an important role in my life. I said, all right, I'm going to stop doing all this one-on-one stuff. I'm going to get everybody on the Zoom, and I'm going to do it that way. So what I started to do was, I would do like on a Thursday, I would say, hey, y'all, if you want to know, everybody's asking me about Airbnb. If you want to know about Airbnb, listen, I'm going to be doing a free Zoom. Shoot me a DM. I'll let you in. I wanted them to shoot me a DM because I already, for me, I'm always thinking long term. I said, I want to gather that information. Just in case they don't buy the first time, I can hit them back.
Smart.
And then I would have these Zooms with like 70, 80 people. And then I would have him come on. And I would just say, listen, I represent y'all. I don't know much about this. This guy knows everything, but I brought him on to speak to y'all. And I will let this gentleman speak the entire time, right? My boy Justin.
Shout out to
He would
Just.
speak, yes, definitely. He would give the whole thing, break down how everything works. And at the end, I'll say, listen, if you guys want, this is how you book it. And literally, I would have like 20 people booking. I'm making like $100. Like, literally, that's when I started to understand, like, y'all making like $2,000 an hour.
Facts. That's
just off affiliate marketing.
Chacho Odi.
And I would do that like I would literally do like once or twice every month, and I would make like $2,000 every single time I did a Zoom or masterclass.
Right. That's amazing. So Yvonne, let me ask you a question. When Rel says, I'm about to do Airbnb, is it like, all right, we're doing something else, like here we go with something else, or it's like, I want to do Airbnb. I'm low key. By the way, if you have a moment, just take a look at the setups of your Airbnb are amazing. And that's credit to Yvonne and her creativity and everything she does. So how was that for you when you first said, all right, we're about to do Airbnb? Was it like, I'm excited, or was it like, I've never done this before? Here we go again with something else? Like, what's the mindset?
No, so when he mentioned Airbnb to me, it just so happened that I was on Instagram and I saw our friend Justin. He was having a course. So when Rel, me and him spoke, and he was telling me, hey, I spoke to E, and I wanted to do Airbnb and stuff. I said, hey, Justin, he has a course, and he's like, what Justin? And I'm like, Justin from
right.
network marketing.
Right.
So we kind of like, he was like, oh, I'm gonna call him. So anybody that know Rel, he has to speak to the people first
100%.
because he wants to get confirmation. So we go into the process of him speaking to Justin, us getting a course and stuff, and then it just so happened that he was at an event in Nashville. And, one of the ladies kind of said to him, like, hey, we're going to go to our Airbnb. And it was kind of like, hey, do you want to go to the building with us? And then when he called me, he's super excited, like, hey, I just found this building in, Nashville. Do you think we should go for it? And, me, I'm always like, let's pray on it.
I love
let's
that.
see what happens tonight. And in the morning, if we feel the same, let's, act on it. Let's figure out something like, at worst, if it goes bad, then it goes bad. If not, then, that's our start to our Airbnb journey. So it was like, okay, well, we're not getting one unit, we're getting two. So I trust his lead on it. A lot of the times, as in his company with his affiliate marketing, he's always teaching me things like, oh, Yvonne, we should promote this or we should do this. And if you have a spouse that has like, a dominant personality, I would say, I trust his lead on a lot of things. He's always schooling me on, hey, we should do this or we should do that. And it's kind of like, okay, well, I'll let you lead and then I'll figure out all the stuff on the back end. And that's kind of like how we balance each other out.
And that's beautiful. So
she skipped one thing that she has to say, because I think females, men, or people in relationships need to understand. One part that she skips that we need to speak more about,
let's hear it,
sometimes, is when she said Justin is whatever, I said I'm going to make the call. I step in the living room. I'm on the phone with Justin. I'm talking about it. She probably hears me talking. We're talking about the course. While I'm on the phone with him, she literally books the course.
Bang, bang.
Can I book it?
Love it.
Can we do this?
Yeah.
Do I have permission?
Right.
We get from network marketing. I need to talk to my spouse. It wasn't like that.
Nah.
She heard me on the phone in the living room, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get it. By the time I'm off the phone, she's like, I booked it already. Yeah. Let's do it.
Fire.
So even though she says, listen,
yeah, you could clap over whatever you want, man. If you heard
she
it's all
booked
good.
it. So that was dope. That's a lot of confirmation for me, because
big.
What people don't know is that we both had businesses before that. I was, into network marketing. Right. She was into hair, and she supported me. I supported me. But that was the first time we said we were going to do something full on together, not just supporting each other, but actually do a business together.
That's fire. That's big. I'm glad that you highlighted that, because damn, there's so much to say on that, because wow, that's powerful. That's really powerful, because you still, you don't lose yourself in a relationship. You become a better person in a relationship, right?
Amen.
If you be able to say, all right, I heard you, it's done already. You ain't got to say no more. Now let's move from here. Here's what I'm curious to know, because you did hair, of course, as you were saying.
Yes.
So it's the artistic side of you. You always, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand, look at these units. They look amazing. I ain't even gonna lie. If you want to give me some tips before you leave or what I should do here, you know what I'm saying, I'll take it. You've always had this love or this creative gene to say, so when he said Airbnb, my question, let me rephrase the question. Were you excited to say, I'm about to get wild creative and, decorate in a way I want to, that I always wanted to? This was something new to say, we got an Airbnb. I've never done this before. Let me see how this goes. And then I want to get into numbers, because I look at these spots and I'm like, yo, how much is it costing? Like the cost for you to get these fine design, that beautiful like rug and this stuff, etc. So the first question is, did you always do this? Right? Do you always had a feel for interior design or whatever?
No.
Nah.
No, so
that's impressive.
I mean, overall, since I've lived by myself at an early age, it was kind of always like, I want my house to look nice. When I go home, I want to feel comfortable. So when we kind of got into Airbnb, I didn't really know what my role per se was to be. It was kind of like.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to say yes without knowing where the journey's going to go.
Correct.
Like you just got to book the course, not know it all, and later on it'll make sense.
Absolutely.
It'll not knowing what my role is, knowing he was dominant. I'm going to figure out the back end. I'm going to tell you right now, the units is fire. But go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, so when we jumped into it, I guess we just kind of jumped all in because it was like, okay, what do we have to lose? Yeah, because I remember even when he came and told me about your conversation,
100%.
Like, hey, me and Rob, we had this conversation, and it was just kind of like, let's pray on it. When he told me about the Airbnbs, and then it was just like, if this is meant for us to do, we'll figure it out. So, I kind of had an eye for like certain things that goes together, and Jarrell, he's really good with like the numbers and stuff. So we kind of like, all right, well, you deal with the properties and stuff because you're good with speaking with people, and I'm gonna deal with more so of like the decor. The decor.
Can you stop right there? Because this is what comes to my mind. Understanding strong suits, right? Mm-hmm. You met him as a promoter, speaker already, and you was doing hair. So design, it just comes together so well. Go ahead. Wow.
So now once we kind of, figured out our roles, it kind of went hand in hand. Like, okay, well, you're the people person. Mm-hmm. You kind of speak good with people and kind of getting to fill out people. And I'm more of the creator to set, in a sense. I'll kind of do the decor and figure out certain things. So when he brung the idea to me and we kind of, sat down and figured out, okay, well, you're going to be in charge of, the ordering and, customer service. You kind of speak to people. I can speak to people on the back end. Like if we're texting and emailing, I'm good for that. But when it's like in person and having to go meet people, that's his stronger point because he's into, public speaking and I'm not. So when it came to that, it was just
ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want Yvonne to have her own show, let me know one time that she's killing it right now.
It was just like, let me jump into this and I'll figure everything out. So once we kind of established our roles in Airbnb, it was like go time. Yeah.
I did it really fast. Really, really fast. So here's questions I have now because, all right, let's speak to a person who it is what it is. You may not know what Airbnb is. Yes. All right, that's very possible, even though they're very public. They're a public company now. If I'm not mistaken, you can invest in Airbnb. Yes. You might have stayed in the Airbnb. You never probably stayed in the Airbnb. So Airbnb, correct me if I'm wrong here, it's an apartment. Someone lives there. Either you rent them, you own it, and just like Uber, it's like the Uber of rentals to some degree.
Correct.
You can rent your apartment out. They'll pay X amount of dollars for it. You'll make a profit. So if my rent is $1,000, but I want to rent my spot out for a net of $2,000 that month, my rent is paid, plus I made a profit. Right. In some places, they're not legal. In other places, they are. So here's what's crazy. Where you guys live?
Connecticut.
Stanford, Connecticut.
In Connecticut. Where's your first units?
Nashville, Tennessee.
In Nashville, Tennessee, right? So some of you are going to think, like I did, I want to be hands-on. It got to be a drive away, etc.
Yeah.
It being in Nashville didn't scare you? Like,
no.
Why is that?
I don't even think we thought of how the process worked. He just, like I told you, it was a lady that was in his network marketing company. Mm-hmm. She took him there. The next day when he woke up, he was like, I think we should do it. And I'm like, okay, I slept on it. Let's do it. And then it was kind of like, how does this even work? So it was just like, hey, well, we would get our cleaners and then we can order stuff. So then Jarrell is, he kind of figured out a certain system of how we should run the Airbnb, and then we kind of ran with it.
Okay, so before we get the rails, because I want to just finish this question. So now when you get a spot and you're doing those numbers, you're saying, okay, I'm gonna make this place. To me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking the way you set this place up, and I'm going, what in the world are they putting down to make this place look so damn good? In my mind, you going $10,000 plus. This is my mind. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm like,
not even close.
Yo, so I'm going, all right, cool. If I get an Airbnb, so here I'm looking at, because I'm doing this for I'm being selfish here. Yeah, I think I'm doing this for y'all. I'm doing this for me. I'm going, I get one unit. There's the math in my head. Mm-hmm. It's in Nashville. That means I gotta get on a flight to get over there. To furnish the spot, I'm gonna need at least $10,000. That's how I'm thinking. And I'm like, and what is rent going for in that building right now in Nashville? So I'm not going to see my money back till maybe to make a profit in a year. Now, I understand that a traditional business, because it is a business.
Yeah.
You're not profitable maybe till 5 years. If those who haven't done their research on businesses, you got a business and it sounds good on paper, it's fly, you broke though. You're like, you going through a lot, you struggling, you still got nice clothes, but you hurting. You know what I'm saying? Here, it's like I'm going, y'all got X amount of units, so tell me the process of what it costs for you to set up a Airbnb in the way you do. And then, when is the turnover time for you to see a profit in the location?
Okay, so the misconception that a lot of people have is, hey, I have to spend $10,000, which
God.
is not true at all.
Okay.
So I have a furnishing, one-on-one course that a lot of people have booked, which
Where can they find that?
on my Instagram, the wig surgeon _ you can actually book your one-on-one consultation with me. And pretty much what I do is walk people through. When you have Airbnb, some people will look at it like, hey, I have to set it up how I have my home, but you don't want to do that. So that's the misconception that a lot of people have is, hey, let's run to the furniture store and, we get a couch that's $600 or $700. And no, with us, we keep everything at a low cost, but we get high profits.
Okay.
So when it comes to like furnishing, we kind of keep everything, whether it's couches, bedding, whatever it may be, we order it online and we kind of order it for like a low cost. Our couches are normally, no more than maybe $450. Our bed, we'll get a box spring for maybe about $100, but we get a box spring that at no point in time, no matter the person's weight, if the person jumps on it, the kids jump on it, it's not going to break because it's all metal. So that's a new system that we have. And also with our bedding, the bedding is no more than like $250, and that's a memory foam mattress.
I hope you got a pen and paper because she's giving the gems. I'm listening.
Yeah,
Okay.
so some people, when they think of Airbnb, a lot of people get scared because they're like, hey, I have to have all of this money, and you don't. As long as you have, your first month's rent, your security, and, on a low end with the furnishing, you can probably be about $3,000.
Wow.
At a high, maybe $4,000.
At a high 4?
Yes,
high.
and that's with fully stocking
Fully
your unit,
stocking in
meaning
there.
you got your extra soaps, your wines,
I'm making
your
a phone call after this.
cleaning supplies, everything. So a lot of the times people get scared, and I have an Airbnb must-have list that I tell everybody, if you're not gonna do Airbnb right away, at least purchase the must-have list and shop online, look for stuff so you can actually write down. Okay,
That's
the couch
genius.
is $300, the bed is $250, and you can write everything down and then total everything up so you have an estimate of how much you would spend before you actually jump fully in. Because now with Airbnb, everybody on social media is promoting it, but then some people are like, hey, I don't know if I can do this. And if we were one of the people that kind of doubted ourselves, will we be here today? So I feel like as long as you take the steps to do what you need to do, as but like I said, with the list that I have, it has each room, the living room, the bathroom.
Wow, that's great.
The kitchen. It's 4 sheets, so it has each room. You can actually go through it, shop online, total up your numbers, and say, okay, well, my goal is by this date to have X amount of money in our business bank account, and contact the properties to figure out how much would the rent be. So now you have everything that you need to kind of determine what's your budget.
That is fantastic. I got a lot from that. I hope y'all did. Yo, bro, I should have did it by herself, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
You still should.
I swear to
She
God,
has a lot.
a lot to shit, because you then touched on business credit, which I know you also cover as well. So again, when I said, it's not that I'm unprepared. It's just so much to unpack. Can you look at the time for me one time?
Yes.
Most people have no idea how much stuff she actually does.
Like, see what I'm saying? So, okay, now look. So now, when you go in that, so this is what I want to think about, because I just want to go through the journey really fast. Yeah. On, you get your units on Nashville, right? Is it, you go for 1, but you get 2. How?
Yeah, so this is the thing about, like, when God puts you in the, like, just right time, right place. I was in there. I'm speaking to the lady that I know because I went to actually do a network marketing meeting. We're in the building, and she says something. She says, this is exactly what she said. She said, my guest broke our bed. What do you mean guest? Oh, this is my Airbnb. I don't live here. Because I thought this was her beautiful place. She said, no, this is my, I said, really? I said, I just took a course on, I literally just took a course before I got here on Airbnb. Wow. She goes, do you want to meet the property manager? She goes, he's really cool. I know him. I got a good relationship with him. I go, yes. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm not prepared. I don't have my folder. I don't look right. I just took it. I don't even remember the script. Right. My head going, she's walking me to meet the property manager. And I say, you know what? This is just going to be practice. I'm just going to say whatever I remember and hopefully it works out. And we meet him. And I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. Hey, hi, yes, I have a company. We didn't even have a company at this point. I have a company called whatever. And
fake it till you make it, but then you got to make it, baby. Yeah.
And he goes, I remember him saying, yeah, this sounds good. Because we have about 9 available units right now. Would you like to see it? And I'm like, yeah, yes, absolutely. So he goes, he walks us, and then he's like, yeah, if you want, whatever, you guys can decide now. Or if you want, you can do everything online. And that's when I call her excited, yo, we could do this. So when I called her initially, it's like, man, should we get one? Should we get, at first it was like, we're going to get one. But then, I'm just we're talking to the guy. We're like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just do 2. Let's just do it. Let's just start it up. Forget it.
So Ro, at this time, you have 0 Airbnbs.
0.
Financially, my question is, are you stretching here where you saying, I'm going to take 2? Or are you at a place where you're like, I could do 2, but the availability just sound too good. You don't want to pass up.
Financially, I was in a place where I was ready to risk it all. That's the point of my life I was. I said, I don't care if I lose every single dollar, I'm going all in. At the time, I think I had a little over 20,000 saved up. And I'm just we had made a shift as far as network marketing because before that, all of my income came from network marketing. Right. And I'm like, listen, I'm just watching, I'm spending money. I'm like, oh my God, this is going down. So I'm like, you know what? We got to do something. And I'm like, man, I'm ready to risk it all. Whatever it is, if this whole 20 something go, because I didn't know I was going to do Airbnb. I thought I was going to be flipping houses or something. Right. Airbnb only happened because my friend mentioned it. My friend Emmaus said, do you know about Airbnb? And he said 2 things that I never forget. He said, with Airbnb, it's a low cost and you can get into profit really fast. And he said, with Airbnb, you do not have to own a property to list and make money on Airbnb. When he said those 2 things, I said, that's what I want to do. Because in my head, I thought I was going to risk 20,000, go put down on a house, try to get somebody to rent it. Correct. That's what I thought I was going to do. So I was going to
risk the 20,000 anyway. So in your mind, this 20 is going to go to how to make you some passive.
To me, this was way easier because I'm like, all right, cool, maybe 10,000. I didn't think it was going to be that much. I'm like, all right, the rent. And remember, I just say for my people watching this from New York, when we say deposit, it's not 1 month rent, 1 month security, no, it ain't that. It's your rent, $300.
Oh,
that's it. And all that other stuff.
In other states is way different.
Yo, you see what I'm saying? That was great.
It's not all that. It's not all that.
I'm over here going oh, I gotta. So see, all right, great. So I'm thinking initially for 1 unit, I gotta cough up. No. First month, 4,000 for the first unit. Okay.
Your rent, your deposit, your application fee, which is maybe $75, $150. Then you have your whatever your rent cost is. And your deposit is probably $300. We even have some units. I think we have a few units where we don't have no deposit down. It's just moves kind of straight in with the application fee.
So you go with 2. Now your journey. I get 2. How quick do you get someone in the unit? How quick do you furnish the unit? This process of, all right, so give me my first 30 days in Airbnb. I get the unit. All right. Now I got to furnish the unit. How quick do I list it? How soon can I get a profit?
All right, so you get the unit. You want your unit to be listed within the first 6 days. That's
6 days?
6 days. You want it to be listed within the first 6 days. This is why it's so important. Everything.
My fault for that reaction. Yeah, I didn't think you were going to say 6 days. That's a fast time.
6 days. Well, when you have a system, this is why Yvonne, and which is why I push her to teach this so much. When we get there, I want you to understand, when we arrive, our unit is almost fully furnished. She does all the ordering. By the time we arrive, day 1, it's just all right, put stuff together.
All right, slow down. Hold up. All right, let's bring that back. So now I'm looking at a spot. I live in New York. I'm from the Bronx. I don't trust nobody. I'm skeptical. My credit isn't great, right? Right, because I know you. And this is why we're going to have to do a part 2. I already see this. Because there goes business credit, and I know this as well because we were having a conversation. We were like, we got in a situation where it was like, yo, my credit kind of crazy. My credit look like my SAT scores back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Looking, wow, you can laugh if you want, but it's all good. Yeah, you can make noise back there. But it's just being real. Where I'm going, in my mind, all right, so let me just be transparent here. My credit's been great for so long, and 1 year put me at a scary situation. And now I'm scared to do something where I'm like, I don't want to get back in a place where later down the line, my interest rate's too high, or if something goes wrong, and what if people don't fill the unit, etc. And I'm thinking it's going to be a 60, 90-day process for me to see a profit. So I didn't mean to cut you off. 6 days just shocked the shit out of me. 6 days, because you have a system, and this, we could get this where again? Where online can I get all this information?
On my Instagram, _. I have the AirBNB must-have list.
Okay.
Which has, everything that you need to order in regards to like Airbnb. And then with our particular units, I order everything online. So
I don't have to go to a place. Because I lived in Hope Depot for 12 days to fix this spot up. You understand? I was coming back. Okay, so yeah, I hope y'all got that. In 6 days, now give me the process. My first 30 days in Airbnb, you want to be listed in your first 6. So her system has it furnished within the first 6?
So, yeah, so basically, she's going to do all the ordering online. So by the time we get there, all the major stuff, the couch, the bed, the box springs, the mattress, everything. Like even box springs and mattress, yes, we order it. It's at the unit. Everything from soaps, tissues, like order everything.
Vegan soap for me, you heard?
Right. So when we get there, vegan soap for you, but remember, you don't live there.
That's a fact.
That's the thing. That's the thing. We always tell people, do not live there. So vegan soap for you, Dollar Tree for me. Right? So basically we get there, it's done. So now all we have to do, so she's good at ordering all the stuff. She puts a theme in her head and she goes to work. I have no idea how she does it to this day. She puts all the pieces together. All I know is she comes to me with like a pick stitch, like this is the unit. And I'm like, that looks amazing.
Right.
And then I'm like, how much does it cost?
Right.
And she's like, oh, this much. I'm like, really? Like, how do you do that? But that's why she teaches that. And then I'm really good at like all the other accent pieces. I'm like, all right, let's go to Ross. I like to go into the store and say, ooh, this will look good there. Right?
Shout out to my gold monkey, you understand what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all appreciate that. You know
this is me. And she always stopped me, by the way. She always stopped me from getting like
pieces
like that.
You gotta get the gold.
See, he likes
I like
pieces
the birds.
like that, where it's like the birds.
Right.
You know what's going on.
Go Gorilla Kim. Look at my boy. You good? All right, let's do this.
But anyway, let me get to it. So 6 days, you want to have it up. Actually, you could list it before. What you want to do is when you get there, for me, I like to do it a little after, but you can actually list it and put the building's amenities on your listing and just put it the day that you want to start. So let's say if you're moving on the first of the month and you want to give yourself a little bit of cushion, so you don't want to do it in 6 days. Let's say you give yourself 8. So you'll allow people to book at day 8 versus day 6.
Got it.
You get what I'm saying?
Got it.
And then literally you put it up. All you have to do in that meantime is you always need a handyman that's on deck.
Where you find a handyman? If you here, how the hell you get a handyman in Nashville?
I like to do everything with references. I always, wherever I'm going, I either post on social media or I reach out to like our group. Because once you start Airbnb, trust me, you are a part of an Airbnb community.
Copy.
Right? So you just, hey, anybody know anybody in Texas that's handyman? Anybody know, so you want handyman and you want a cleaners. That's the main 2 things. If you have your unit furnished, you have a good handyman and you have cleaners, you're good to go. You're great to go.
Okay.
So when I arrive there, the first thing I need to do is have the cleaners, whoever I talk to on the phone, come do a walkthrough. I give them a walkthrough of the unit. And we're ready to go. Like, we're ready to have our units listed. She already has it furnished. So even at worst case scenario, like for her, she likes it to be perfect.
I can see that.
But as long as we have the main stuff, we could always add stuff after. So let's say worst case scenario, certain things don't happen. We can still list it because we still have the bed, we still have the couch, we still have the TV, we still have all that stuff in play. We may not have the certain accent piece or the rug that she wants. Like she'll switch it out like, oh no, I'm ordering something else. But at least we have it where people can actually come in and we can always do updates. And then we tell our guests, hey, we made some updates to the unit.
Okay. I think this is a question that's relevant to the times right now. So here's what I'm seeing. The market is crazy in a lot of places. Like rent feels like New York everywhere, right? So if I feel like, damn, I'm coming in when the market is hot, rent you can't move to Miami right now because it's $4,000 to be there, whatever the case is. Nashville is hot now. Things are starting to move, etc.
Yeah.
If somebody catches this episode, it's like, well, it sounds great, but now I feel like everything's expensive. Is that a honest mindset? Is it a mindset where it's like, well, if my rent is now 25, what do I profit in a month? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you gauge that to say, okay, it makes sense to go get 10 in, because the numbers are crazy. So how do you do that math before you go and attack a market again?
Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
All right, cool. If you knew for a fact that in this area, before you fill out any application, that your profit will be, let's say, $800 to $1,300 a month. You knew that for a fact before you even touched the pen to put the application. Would you be
I'm taking
more?
it.
You're taking it.
I'm taking it. So you know, okay, so you know before you even get the unit, and I kind of set that up because I knew that already. Before I get the unit, what my profit is going to be, and you add in the cost of furnishing and all, because so this is what my good question is too, because after that expense, it's different from saying I'm going to make $1,300 because the rent is $25. If I average it 65% of the time, and then you know what I mean, I paid attention a little something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going. I'm gonna book every 30 days. I'm gonna say I only book 20 days. I'm gonna make X amount of dollars. This is at the bare minimum. You also lowballing yourself. You're not afraid of what the market says.
No, I know. Like I always tell people, because one of the big questions is like, what kind of rent? Like, is $1,200 a good rent? It don't matter. It could be $1,200. It could be $5,000. It's not about how much you're gonna pay in rent. It's about how much you're gonna make in profit. That's what it's all about. So we we develop a system which I teach in my mentorship programs and the trainings.
Where can they find
I teach them. So a simple way to do it, you can go to www.theaffiliatementorship.com. Right, you'll see all the information you need there. Just go there, but and also my Instagram, which is the J Dinkins. So TheJDinkins. Right, the J Dinkins. You'll see me posting stuff all the time.
I also have those informations listed on the video below. So if you're getting hard times to get that, we'll put that. But you can also see it in the description below. Heck, I did that right there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning this stuff.
But yeah, man. Here's the thing, man. I always think from the perspective of the customer or the person looking to start a business, and I think about like how we felt. You know,
Sure.
These are the things that we wonder. Would we be able to afford it? Would there be some months where we have to come out of pocket? So I always think from that, and I say, you know what can I teach a person so they can feel more confident about that? So I literally walk you through step by step of how to figure out what area you're going to be in, about how much you're going to spend in, like let's say rent, how much is going to be your other bills, okay? And then I'll teach you a formula of how, so you can know how much money you're going to be able to make in the area. So once you know how much money you're going to make and you know how much money you're going to spend, now you can minus it and then you can get the profits.
That's amazing.
Which is simple. And then we know if you use our strategies, like you said, if you use our strategies, you will be booked anywhere between 20 to 25 days, and I'm lowballing it. For us, we're booked more than 25 days on every unit almost every single month.
Wow. So now this is, I guess, the best segue. So now, as I'm hearing that, I'm intrigued, but my credit is shot, right? I'm going to go back to Yvonne here. My credit is shot. I'm honestly more empowered. You know, Beth, if you want to go get a unit together, we could do that. You heard? We could go get a unit together after this joint right here. Because I'm going, okay, so, but now my credit isn't the greatest. I may not get, except, matter of fact, I'm at home right now. I don't know where I'm at, whatever parts in the world you in, and I'm in my lowest right now. I'm in my lowest. I got a credit card that got some room in it, and I'm going, my credit is shot. Yeah. So how do I even get approved for these places? You know, how a person with bad credit, do I get the same rates? Do I get denied? You know, how do you, because I know you build business credit, this is what I'm getting into. I never built a business before. I don't even have business credit. So how do I go about getting a unit if my credit is bad?
So initially when we started Airbnb, our business credit, just because we started, our business credit wasn't always there. But then our last 4 properties, which we have in Texas, when Jarrell contacted
I just got 4 in Texas, 2 in Nashville. I don't know if they've been there because of training, but
so we have 2 in Nashville, 2 in Atlanta, and then 4 in Texas. Our last ones, when Jarrell actually contacted them, they were like, okay, well, we do corporate leasing. we need your business information. So when they ran a business credit and everything, they were like, okay, so how many units do you want?
Oh.
So since our business
I'm sorry, I gotta say this because they gotta know how important structuring the business. Up front, we didn't necessarily qualify because they said you had to have at least a year of history. We still to this day
don't have a year in.
We're actually a year now. We're actually a year. So up front they're like, yeah, you don't have you need to have at least a year of experience. Okay, we'll just send our information in. Okay, how many units do you want?
Yes.
Building business credit.
So, in certain situations, whereas your personal credit may not be good, let's say if you're a felon and you may not have.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk that. Let's talk about you did some things in your past in the universe.
And certain buildings may not, be open to, they consider, felons and certain things. So you may actually want to build your business credit. Now, when you build your business credit, some people think like, hey, I'm just going to go to the bank and apply for all of these cards. But little do you know that if you go to the bank and you apply for, business credit cards, they normally personal guarantor, which means they run your personal credit. So a lot of people mess up because I had clients that, contact me and they're like, hey, I went to Chase and I went to Bank of America or Wells Fargo and I went to go apply and I got denied. And I'm like, you were not supposed to build your business credit that way. Like there's steps and levels to building business credit. So in order for you to actually get your foot in the door, you have to start off small to actually go big. Most companies, in order to get a business credit card or a line of credit, whether it's to get a business car in your name, a business apartment in your name, to do corporate leasing, they require you to have business credit. But in order to do so, you have to start off small, whether it's, your net 30 accounts or, putting your business credit on autopilot. I actually just did a masterclass to teach people how to build your business credit on autopilot. Like for us, we're parents. So we run several businesses. We have the kids to attend to, and then we're a couple. So it's like you have to pay your spouse attention. Hold on.
I gotta get to the people. I gotta get to the people with the excuses. You heard what she just said? We're parents. We're in a relationship because if you don't see it in a room, I can't wait to find somebody to lick them in their forehead the way they look happy in here glowing. There ain't no excuse. They didn't know what to do. I love how she said, and again, I'm not here to push anybody on what your belief is, but they have a source, something that they plug into, prayed on it, went with their mindset, I'm ready to risk it all. I knew he was ready to risk it all from the conversation in the car we had. Like, yo, Robot, I've done everything right. I've been doing everything right, bro. Like, it gotta give. Yeah. Your time will come. You don't know what form it looks like. Your best partner is probably in your living room with you. Shout out to the In the Living Room podcast. See how I did that right there? I'm working today. Gee, I'm not even lying to y'all.
Exactly.
Yeah, talk to them a whole one time. And then not having the business credit, learning that sector as you go. Jesus, it's so much to unpack on here. So now, I'm so sorry. I'm just thinking about the person. Mark my words, I'm getting an Airbnb. Yo, we getting an Airbnb here. Say it's over after this convo, we locking it in. So again, I'm sorry. So you have that system in place where you could put your business on autopilot, your parents, you have a life.
Yeah.
Because this is what it looks like. It's a lot. How do I live? I'm too busy. But okay, you have it on autopilot.
Yeah. So when, some people, they watch, different YouTube things or they see people online and it's like, oh, we have to order supplies and we have to be consistent each month. And then, somebody like us, Jarrell's always busy. I'm always busy. So sometimes even when we were building business credit in the beginning, it was like, hey, did we order stuff this month? Hey, we got to, stay consistent because in order for your business credit to grow, you have to do that each month. So now it's like, yeah, we may need the net 30 accounts, but we need another alternative to kind of, build business credit without us having to do anything. So when I kind of learned the autopilot method, it was like, okay, well, we just sign up for these accounts and it builds by itself. So now we don't have to worry about, hey, did we order something this month? Did we do this transaction? Did we pay this back on time? It's kind of like put your business bank account on file and it will build its own. So as we continue to do that, now that we're in the space of getting multiple units, when we actually got to Texas and then they was like, hey, you have to be a year in business. And Jarrell, him being who he is, he's like, well, we're going to send you the business stuff and then you kind of see where you want to go. When the lady, emailed us back like, well, how many units do you guys want? We went with the intentions of only maybe getting 2. And now that we have 4, it brung us to a total of 8. So now when we look at our Airbnb account, it's like, dang, just the other day I told him, I said, for the last few months, every unit has been booked out for the 30 days,
That's
30 days,
sick.
31 days. And this is why it gave us the numbers that we actually have. And even when he talked about listing your Airbnb for the first 6 days, I remember the day that we actually listed it, which was March 4th. We were out with one of our other business partners and we're like, hey, we're just going to list it, the 2 Nashville properties because we only had 2 at the time. We're going to list it and we're going to go out to eat. And we're sitting down and everybody's getting notifications and we're like,
every second.
what is happening?
That's sick.
And then when
Every
we looked the
second.
next day, it was like, okay, you guys made $8,000 in 24 hours.
That's ridiculous.
And to us, that was just mind blowing. And we're like, is these numbers typical?
Right,
because we hear
right.
people like, hey, you may make $500
Right,
or $600 in a
right.
month, and we made $8,000 in 24 hours. So Jarrell was like, no, we're doing this.
Right,
So now
right.
when people see our results, it's kind of like, is this possible for me? And that's kind of what our main goal was. Besides just getting into Airbnb for us, it was just, hey, we want to bring as many people along, along the journey with us because it's somebody that's maybe sitting in the living room, like you said, their credit is bad. They're kind of like, hey, this is all the money that I have. I maybe have $10,000 or $20,000 and I need to invest in something because if I don't, I'll pretty much,
Right,
go
little by
down
little.
from here.
Right.
So that was our main goal. Even with me with business credit, I talk to people all the time and they're like, you only charging $150? Like, I'll contact somebody else and they were only willing to give me 3 business credit accounts and they were charging me $800. But
Wow.
my goal was never to take everybody's money. It was, hey, if I can do it, so can you. So let
Love
me try
that.
to bring you along with me.
I love all of that. Damn,
Yes.
that's so much, so good. So here's a question I have now for those looking, because I'm thinking of the eye of the viewer, right? And I'm in the Bronx, so I still want to be skeptical and
Yeah.
go, all right, so what's the downside of Airbnb? Because I'm hearing these numbers. You already told me if I have bad business credit, it ain't a problem. I love the fact that you brought that out there too. Maybe you have a past. I don't know who you around or what you're reading, but your past don't determine your future. People could change. Everything could change in less than a year, right? What's the downside now? Where I'm going, what's the challenges I have with Airbnb? Where it's like, if this right here gets on my nerves, like, because I'm thinking, here's the scary part. I don't know, to me, who the hell is booking this stuff, right? And I guess there's a format for you to say, okay, this is when I require somebody to stay here, this person's qualified or not, but give me the ups and downs in your roller coaster, because it's been short notice, that it could kind of sound like, well, it's a lucky first year, which is not. Obviously, you got a proven system, but
Yeah.
what's the bad in this process, and how did you fix that? Where'd you get into hiccups and say, oh, this didn't work too well, we got to change this?
All right. Well, the bad, it's basically two downsides of it. Two downsides in the process, and then I would say one while you're actually building a business. The first downside is you're gonna hear no. The number one reason why people quit, why they don't, go after their dreams and goals, is because their emotions get attached, and usually it's attached to somebody telling them no, right? So one of the downsides is that you're gonna hear no, all right? The second downside is actually finding properties, which actually goes back to, they're going to tell you no, finding properties that actually allow you to run your business. And like I said, one thing, there's a few things about us, but one thing about how we operate is we think about the consumer. We always think about the customer. We always think about the person looking to start their journey. And I know that is the problem. So I said, how do I fix that? Right? So I developed certain things to where now, I had so many people, Rob, that would contact me and say, I called 40 properties and I got all no's.
Wow, that's
like,
discouraging.
Yeah, I'm like,
Very.
okay, I know how to fix that. And they're like, how do you, and I tell them to do one thing, they do it. Can I give out free game?
Give up. Can you
listen?
Give up free game for me one time, bro.
I tell them to do one thing, and then they call me a week later like, yo, I got approved for like 3 properties. So what I tell people is make your list like you make your list.
Right.
30, 40 properties. Do the same exact thing before you go to call, because usually they make the list, then they go call these properties, and they use the script, which is fine. Before you do that, do one other step. Go to Airbnb. Put the exact address in Airbnb, like you were going to stay somewhere. See how many properties pop up near that building, and when you click on it, you're gonna see the amenities. Go look for like the pool. I always look for the pool or the gym, something that stands out, and then look online on Google and find the buildings. If you see that these properties are on Airbnb,
right?
Like if you see the pool on this, and then you find the building and it's the same pool. If there's 3 listings, then chances are they allow you to do it in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one extra step. So it's even 1 or 2 things that's happening. Either they allow the business model or they're not even paying attention. Now, I don't suggest you go in if people are not paying attention. Right. But what I do know is that you are more likely to get a yes because I just saw 3 listings from this on Airbnb. So we call properties. Like when I call, I know I'm going to get a unit. I said this because I have a list. You may have a list of 40 and you have no idea what's going on, but I have a solid list of 10 where I seen 3, 4, 2 properties already listed on Airbnb. So when I call them, I'm like, yeah, they're going. One of these going to be a yes.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Okay. So that's the 2 downsides. Number 1, it's hearing the no's, and number 2, which kind of go side and side with that, is just finding those profitable properties, right? And then in the journeys, I would say the downside is you don't understand, like you don't know what people you have coming in, right? But everybody is different. For us, we don't like we're here to make money, right? All jokes aside, like you hear the stories. Oh, people came, they threw a party. I don't care what you do. I'm gonna put in my list to protect me. Correct. No parties. This amount of people. Correct. If you go in there with 20 people, do I care? Nope. Right. I don't care. Like some people, they care. They got the cameras, all that. I don't care about none of that. I don't live there. That's for me to make my money. Right. If you go in with 20 people, you don't make no noise, you don't get no complaints, the cops don't come, and you go out, I ain't charging you nothing extra, nothing. I don't care. But I have it in there for protection. You see what I'm saying? So some people, they get so emotionally involved in their units when they realize that this is a business. Airbnb, if you do the right things, if you have I have our cleaners record when they come in, before they clean and after they clean, right? So we're protected. If something goes wrong, they break something, Airbnb is going to cover it. And I teach you a method to where when something breaks, you make money off of it. So when we have a couch that gets destroyed, we're going to get the new couch and we're going to make money off of that couch. So please damage it because we want something new anyway. Please damage it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we could go for another hour if we wanted to. I think that right there was to give all that intel, just to show you what kind of people we got in this episode. I'm honestly blown away. Yeah. Like, blown away by the info y'all gave. Y'all absolutely killed this episode. If there's anything else, you know what I'm saying, as we come to Orlando, here's what the first thing I want to say. I'm just honored and blessed to be here with y'all, for real.
No, we appreciate you having us. We
appreciate
you. Listen, just the chemistry, it shows how y'all work together. You know what I'm saying? The way y'all flowed on this episode. We doing that, Beth. You heard? We locking that in. If there's something you want to leave, I'll start with you, Yvonne. If there's something it's on your heart that you feel like somebody needs to hear, whether it's about Airbnb, whether it's about whatever it is, was in your heart. Before we come to Orlando, you could get it off your chest now. Again, you know where to find these people. I'll leave you the details in the bottom. If y'all don't get an Airbnb after this, I don't know what is going to push you to get one. But the floor is yours.
We got to pull a R. Kelly. Is this camera on?
I love it.
No, so I would just say, like I tell most people in 2022, if you haven't learned anything from 2020, when the pandemic hit, it was kind of like everybody was scared. Nobody knew where the next meal was coming from. Nobody knew where money was coming from. They didn't know what to expect. So for 2022, I tell everybody, bet on yourself. So many times we put our faith in like jobs or, depending on other people, whether, you're a female and you're like, hey, I need to depend on my spouse. Yeah, I'm a female that depends on my spouse, but I also know that at some point you have to take initiative to secure your own bag. So even though we do Airbnb, I'm still kind of like, hey, he does this, but this is what I bring to the table. So I would say to anybody for 2022, bet on yourself. If you have to risk it, risk everything, whether you have $20,000 in a bank account, $30,000 in a bank account, just, jump in it with faith. We didn't know where Airbnb would take us, but us just going full on in it, like, hey, well, if we lose everything, we lose it, and then we figure it out on, the back end. It kind of worked for us. So I'm not saying, we were lucky, because I don't think this was done by luck. This was done by strategy. We're two people that prior to Airbnb, we had our own businesses. We're thinkers, we're, doers. We don't just sit around and wait for things to come to us. We actually act on it. So if it's anything that I can leave you, whether you're a mom, you're a boss babe, whatever you are, just go for it. As being a mom, most people have mom guilt. They're like, oh, I don't want to leave my baby behind. I don't want to do this. No. If you have to bring the baby along, purchase a tablet, figure something out. My son, he's been to every Airbnb that we have. We bring him along. We bring the stroller. Hey, we're setting up the iPad or the tablet or whatever it is that he has on top of boxes, and we're working. Whether we're staying up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, he has to sleep on the sofa. He's with us, a part of the journey. Also, my stepdaughter Paige, she's along with us. She understands certain things, like, hey, Daddy can't be here, Yvonne can't be here, so I have to, stay with my mom or figure certain things out. But they understand that every decision that we're making is for them. We don't want them to be kids that have to, get it out the mud. We're the parents that's in that journey. We're doing it. So for them, we want them to, enjoy life. The struggle is over after us. Like, we're figuring it out, so that way they're able to go to the top schools. They're able to live a life that, most kids dream about. My son, he does just about anything that any child wants to do. Mom, you didn't buy me a gift today. Paige is like, Dad, my 10th birthday is coming. I want an Apple Watch. I want this. I want that. A few years ago, that wasn't possible for us, because it was like, hey, let's check the bank account to figure out if we're able to do that. And now it's like, okay, the kids want this. Are we getting the small one, or we getting the big one?
Ooh,
so just step out on faith. If it's anything that you can do this year, it's bet on yourself. Stop pitting your all into a job. I don't have anything against jobs. I actually just became a full-time mom in July. So I would tell you guys, if your job has to fund your, your entrepreneurship, your journey, let it do that. But put your all into what you want to do. You will all have a passion. We all have some you just, thought of doing a podcast. Facts. I commend you for that.
Appreciate that.
Most people would sit on the idea and be like, hey, I don't know if this is going to work. No, take a chance on yourself. This is the year for it. So
I love
that's the only thing that I can leave.
Ro, what you want to add to that?
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
What's today's date, Rob?
Today, I don't even.
February
26th, Saturday.
26th?
Yeah.
Yes.
Today is the 26th. Right now, as we sit here, we're definitely over 201,000. It still hasn't been a year yet. That's on Airbnb alone, not our other platforms that we made some money on. This is just Airbnb, over 201,000, which we checked like 3 days ago, so I know it's more than that. Yeah. But a year ago today, today, TUHH day, right?
Yeah.
A year ago today, we hadn't even listed our units.
That's insane.
We didn't know what the results were going to be. We didn't know if we were going to make $2,000 a month, $200 a month, $2 million a month. We had no idea what it was going to be. We didn't know if our units were going to be booked. Like, we had no idea. So a year ago today, we didn't know what a year later would look like.
Wow.
But look at us. $200,000 in less than a year. What Yvonne said was, take a chance on yourself. This is the time. If you are even doubting, listen to me closely. Do Airbnb. No, do B&B. It don't have to be Airbnb. There's many platforms. But do it. People are looking to stay at these units. They will get booked. But if you go to do it, I don't care if you take my program, this person's program, that person's program,
take something, be informed as you go into it, because there's little things like, languages that you need to have when you call in these properties. There's little things that you need to do that you are not going to get on your own. I don't care how much YouTubing you do, right? Spend a few $100s or whatever it is, take a program, a course, a training, a platform, whatever it is, learn it, and then go get the unit.
Yeah.
Go get the unit.
Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you, it's the profits are there. You're gonna make the money.
Ladies and gentlemen, bet on yourself, invest in yourself. That's another episode of In the Living Room. I love it. See y'all. Check y'all in on the next one. Y'all killed that.
Thank you for
I love
having
it.
us.
Woo!
Yes.
That was amazing.